Hello everybody, it's Verda here, and today we're going to be benchmarking the GTX 1060 3GB edition of the graphics card inside of Ark Survival Ascended. Now, I wouldn't recommend this. I actually messed about with it last night, and it's not great, as you would expect. I'm pairing it up with a Intel Core i7-4790K, and as you can tell, I've already got Ark Survival Ascended running in the background in the main menu, and look at that CPU usage. It's fantastic, isn't it? And I've got it with 16GB of DDR3 1600MHz RAM. So yeah, not exactly the PC that is recommended for this game. I wouldn't say it's made for this. Let's jump in and begin this absolute nightmare, I guess. So I just quickly did a little check before we jump in, and apparently the minimum GPU recommended for this game is a GTX 1080, which is quite a bit more powerful than a 1060, and also the CPU, I can't remember exactly which model of CPU it was, but it was pretty much on par with the performance of the i7-4790K apparently. Yeah, let's jump on in and see how this runs. Right, so to get us started here in Ark Survival Ascended, we're going to be playing at 720p. Yes, 720p. We might try out 1080p, but we'll go in with 720p first to play it safe. I've got everything set to the lowest. It says custom because low settings actually leaves one or two settings a little bit higher on medium, so I've manually adjusted everything to the lowest. Oh my god. Wow, the game looks so good. Oh, and here we are. We're inside of Ark Survival Evolved now. We're actually getting decent-ish FPS. We are obviously completely GPU bound, so we'll have to see what this CPU can do in this game, because I'm actually kind of interested. Now, we are on a beach, which in Ark is usually the least intensive area in a game, so we'll have to try and make our way into a jungle. We have to figure out how to use God mode on this game. VRAM usage still surprisingly isn't being fully utilized. What just happened? My game decided to just have a huge spike. Everything doesn't look too terrible. It's just that the clouds are, well, there's something else, aren't they, to put it lightly. That's some next-gen clouds right there. If I look at the sky, 60 FPS, is that a clickbait thumbnail? No, I'm joking, but yeah, it's not good. And we're on the beach, which is the least intensive part on Ark Survival Evolved usually, on every, well, not usually, definitely is. So let's go into this jungle. So this should be more intensive realistically. Actually, not much more intensive. This is fairly surprising. This is like borderline playable. I mean, probably not. This game costs nearly as much as this GPU does on the market, at least depending on where you live, right? In America, you can probably buy this GPU for the price of this game, or very close to the price of this game, whereas in the UK, you cannot buy this GPU for the price of this game. Oh, Titanosaur. Definitely just buy a better GPU if you want to play Ark. But it is interesting to see that this CPU is actually like, seems to be fine. We'll have to test the CPU as well, but yeah, like 20s, it's not very good. It looks disgusting too, like it doesn't look very good. Yeah, I'd say just play Ark, because you can actually play Ark Survival Evolved with low settings at decent FPS in a lot of places. It doesn't look as good as this game, you know, in quotations, if you could play at higher settings, but definitely with a more budget end GPU, definitely play that game instead. It is a shame that it's not getting the new updates, of course, but at least you can actually play that one with this GPU. My 1% loads are abysmal. My average FPS is actually not terrible. It's almost playable. I mean, maybe if you have a controller, it wouldn't feel so bad. If you set an FPS cap at 30, maybe it wouldn't feel so bad. It wouldn't stutter as much. But in terms of visuals, it's just disgusting, right? Let's try 1080p just for the sake of it. Right, so before we actually try 1080p, we're going to try 1600 by 900. It's kind of like a middle ground between them, and in some games it looks okay, so yeah, we'll try this. It's not a graphic setting that you usually see. A lot of laptops used to play at this resolution, and some may still play at this resolution, so this is the resolution I first started like PC gaming on a laptop, believe it or not, because I didn't know any better. But we're on low settings, lowest settings in the game. Let's see how it runs. Okay, so it looks way cleaner, like in terms of visual clarity. I can actually see what's going on. But the issue is my FPS is now so low that it's not playable at 20 FPS, and it is an absolute stuttery hell here. But yeah, it's holy crap, that looks absolutely disgusting. That's not YouTube compression, guys. That's just Ark Survival Ascended. I know I'm laughing at this, but you know, don't take it to heart. Don't take it personally. I know some people take it personally when I laugh at, you know, low spec GPUs in games like intensive games like this. But I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at like just the scenario, you know what I mean? Like, it's just abysmal. It looks awful, but yeah, it really is jarring on the eyes. Let's try 1080p. I mean, why not, right? Oh my god, even the menu is like, Jesus. All right, so we're at 1080p on lowest settings, and you can certainly feel it in the menu. Let's see it. Let's check it out. Whoa, the game looks so good. I'm joking. Yeah, it's well, it's playing, you know, cinematic experience almost, more like slideshow experience. Whoa, did they make these bigger in this one, or am I just not remembering how big the Sakasukas is? Is it Sakasukas? I think it's Sakasukas. Sarko, yeah, Sakasukas. Anyways, I wouldn't recommend it. You know, no, I don't think anybody was expecting this GPU to play this game, but I just wanted to come and see what it would actually play like. Also, because I actually do watch like a lot of benchmark videos myself. I like watching benchmarks and stuff. So, but I've not seen anybody really benchmark this game with a 1060. So I was kind of interested myself, at least with a 3 gig edition of the card. And there's probably a good reason for it. There's no point. It doesn't play. It doesn't play the game. Oh my god, I'm literally struggling to see where I'm going. Yeah, it's not good. Let's see if we can test the CPU. I don't even know if we will be able to make it CPU bound, but we'll give it a go. All right, so you probably can't see this, but to benchmark the CPU, we're playing at 480p full resolution, and we're on lowest settings. So let's see if we can get this CPU bound. I mean, that would be interesting. And oh my, yeah, we're CPU bound at 60 something This CPU can play Ark Survival Ascended at 60 something FPS. Are you serious? That's kind of crazy. This is actually fairly smooth. I mean, it looks awful. I mean, you wouldn't want to play like this. 60 something FPS on this CPU is actually fairly surprising. It's 10 years old. And 60 FPS for a lot of people will be enough for Ark. Like, honestly. If you have this CPU, oh my god, that's a huge stutter. But yeah, if you have this CPU, you can play Ark, maybe. It's not the most smooth experience, but I know for a fact that when you're exploring the map for the first time, once you load in, it's a little bit worse performance, but typically for me at least, the longer I play, like the more I explore the map, the smoother it gets in Ark, like Ark Survival Evolved, like normal Ark or old Ark, I guess. So I would have to imagine that's going to be the case here in this one as well. But we're actually GPU bound over here. We're at 50s, which is still playable for Ark, especially on such a budget computer. So like, in all honesty, the CPU might actually be the saving grace. Yeah, we're still GPU bound here. Let's throw on 50% resolution and see if we can make it CPU bound. So yeah, we're back to being in a CPU bound situation here. We are technically playing at like 240p or something right now, which is not ideal for Ark. Yeah, at this resolution, we are CPU bound at like 40 something FPS, which is still fine. This is clearly much more of an intensive area, but yeah. That's going to do it for today, I think. We're not going to mess around with this anymore. It's clearly not... oh, the redwoods. It's clearly not meant to be played with a 1060. But with this CPU, you can actually play this game, funny enough. But definitely need a much more powerful GPU. Maybe at some point I'll put my 3060 Ti in this PC, and we'll see if it can run with the 3060 Ti and i7-4790K. That would be quite an interesting test. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. Yeah, bottom line, do not play Ark Survival Ascended with a 1060, especially a 3 GB edition. Don't think I need to tell anybody that really, but yeah, bit of fun to just come in here and have a look at how this would perform. And it performed just about as expected. Actually, a little bit better than expected, to be honest. But the i7-4790K can play Ark Survival Ascended pretty well. And you only need 16 gigs of RAM, and it seems like it doesn't really matter too much if it's older RAM either. So yeah, so until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and goodbye for now.